And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Satellite imagery for today showing low pressure here over Bristol Bay, circulating bands of snow showers into the east or the coastal Bristol Bay and then pushing northward in toward the Kuskokwim Valley. Another surge kept snow going all day today across northern Cook Inlet, Anchorage, on up into the Mananuska-Susitna Valley areas. And low pressure weakening as it moves up the southeast coast, kept conditions wet there, but precipitation tapering off down to the south. And generally fair over the interior with cold temperatures staying well below zero in many areas. And then some clouds and maybe flurries there for the eastern Arctic coast. Out to the west, cold air continues to pour southward out of the Chukchi Sea here in the Russian Far East, with snow showers, gusty winds all the way from the Bering Strait across St. Lawrence Island down into the Pribilofs. Next system here developing, spreading some mid and high level moisture in across the eastern Aleutians, Alaska Peninsula. And that storm expected to bring a winter storm warning to Bristol Bay. That's out for some Sunday and Sunday night there for Bristol Bay. Looking for northeast winds or north winds gusting to, let's see, 45 miles an hour, along with 6 to 18 inches of snow expected to fall there again tomorrow and tomorrow night. So that'll reduce visibility to a quarter mile at times. Then there's also a winter storm warning out for the western Prince William Sound area, eastern Kenai Peninsula, for Sunday and Sunday night as well. Looking for 15 to 40 inches of snow to fall across the area there, with the heaviest amount, the 40-inch amount, probably falling around Turnagain Pass. And that area be kind of hard to measure with the 40-mile-an-hour winds out of the east blowing it around. That'll reduce visibility to less than a quarter mile at times. So it'll be a pretty tough drive down the Seward Highway or in toward the Sterling Highway there, especially if you're going to Seward tomorrow. And then there's a winter storm warning out also for the Copper River Basin, and that's out for Sunday night and Monday for snow and blowing snow in that area, anywhere from 10 to 24 inches possible in that area, and winds gusting to 35 miles an hour, creating blowing snow, reducing visibilities to, again, less than a quarter mile at times. And then lastly, snow advisory for the Juneau Borough area for another 2 to 4 inches of snow until 9 p.m. this evening. It should taper off, after which that time the advisory will end. And on the chart today, here's a low pressure area bringing the snow to the northern southeast coast today, with rain down to the south, tapering off, becoming more showery this afternoon as that whole system weakens. Low pressure south of the Kenai Peninsula, again, keeping snow going over northern Cook Inlet and northward there, as well as areas of the North Gulf Coast. This low keeping a lot of snow shower activity over Bristol Bay up into the southern Kuskokwim Valley, southern Kuskokwim Delta area. Interior looking pretty good today, with cold temperatures and some clearing in areas and more clouds than others, especially up here to the northeast with some light snow across the Yukon Flats there, along the Porcupine River up to the eastern Arctic coast. And then breezy conditions with snow showers extending actually from the Chukchi Sea here all the way down to the central Aleutians there, and then picking up more snow showers over the Alaska Peninsula. Clouds with this warm front spreading in over the eastern Aleutians this afternoon. We'll see that system tonight. Low appears on the chart here. The warm front spreads snow up to Kodiak Island and pushing up toward the Kenai Peninsula, southern Kenai Peninsula, Cook Inlet, Kamishak Bay late tonight, and starting to spread into at least eastern Bristol Bay later tonight, with a trough keeping showers going over the Panhandle, but look for a let up in the precipitation, probably ending here over south central Alaska and Prince William Sound area, as well as the Kenai Peninsula, and staying fair, light winds over the remainder of interior Alaska again tonight. High pressure for very light winds up over the North Slope. And snow showers continue from the Pribilofs, St. Lawrence Island, all the way down into the Aleutians, with north-northeast winds continuing. That gradient tightens up here, so that pattern will continue and actually pick the winds up a little bit there. That'll continue to pull cold air southward, with snowfall levels down to sea level south of the Aleutians. And then the strong winds tomorrow expected over Bristol Bay with the winter storm warnings. And if there is no winter storm warning, then it's an advisory. Strong low pressure tracks up to near Kodiak Island. So snow changing to rain there. Very strong winds here developing along the North Gulf Coast. Gales, possibly storm force winds ahead of this system with a tightening gradient there. And then less of that, but still increasing chances for some moisture getting into the northern panhandle late in the day. It stays dry to the north all the way out to the Arctic coast with light winds, especially over the northern third of the state on out to the Arctic Ocean. And taking a look at Monday, we'll see that low really doesn't pull northward. Another system develops here, another warm front, another surge of warm air will push northward here, bringing rain and snow or just plain rain to the North Gulf Coast. Periods of snow continue with a trough axis right up Cook Inlet into the Matanuska Valley, Copper River Basin. Winter storm warning out there for the heavy snow and gusty winds. And still, Panhandle, only the northern areas will see any moisture at all there in the form of rain or snow. Rain likely along the central coast up to about Yakutat, and then dry conditions down to the south. And still cold with gusty northeast winds here over the western part of the state, and a much tighter gradient now here across the Brooks Range there. So look for those northeast winds to increase through the passes of the Brooks Range. And cold northerly winds continue for the eastern Bering Sea all the way from the Chukchi Sea, bringing numerous snow showers, cold temperatures into the Pribilofs and eastern Aleutian areas. Next front, pretty weak by comparison, pushing increasing snow towards Shimianatu and the western Bering Sea. Lows tonight below zero over much of the interior with temperatures anywhere from 5 to 15 for south central Alaska, 5 to 15 below for the Copper River Basin, and single numbers in teens right along the coast though, 20s here in the Bering Sea, lower 30s for the Aleutians. And for Kodiak Island, low tonight in the mid-20s, lower to mid-20s northern panhandle, lower to mid-30s on to the south. Highs for tomorrow in the teens, from about Anchorage northward into the Susitna and Matanuska Valley, single numbers for the Copper River Basin. Warming into the 20s down toward Kenai, lower 30s for Homer, lower 40s for Kodiak Island, and 15 to 25 there for Bristol Bay. And again, west and north of the Alaska Range, highs staying well below zero, anywhere from 10 to 25 below. And back to near zero for the Arctic coast, a little above on the west side. And then highs 25 to 35 in the northern panhandle and in the lower 40s down to the south, with highs right around freezing for the Fox Islands, upper 20s to the Pribilofs and St. Lawrence Island. And lows for Monday morning, teens 15 to 20, again south central Alaska, but in the 20s down toward the southern Kenai Peninsula, and about 5 to 10 for Bristol Bay, near freezing Kodiak Island. 20s here to lower 30s for the Aleutians Alaska Peninsula area, and 25 to 33 for the northern panhandle with 30s to the south. And again, 20 to 30 below up over the northeast part of the state. And then highs Monday afternoon, upper 20s here for south central Alaska, mid-20s to lower 30s with southerly winds trying to break into the Copper River Basin there. So if that happens, then you will jump into the lower to mid-30s. And then otherwise lower 40s possible around Cordova, especially Middleton Island. Mid-40s for portions of the Panhandle.